Jenni JWoww Farley is officially married, and the part that has everyone talking is not just the ceremony. It is the way she and Zack Carpinello pulled it off. After years of public engagement, wedding questions, and hints that plans were still uncertain, the Jersey Shore star and the professional wrestler did not invite loved ones to what looked like a traditional wedding. They invited them to what appeared to be a movie screening, then revealed that the real event was their wedding. That detail matters because this was not a random celebrity ceremony dropped into the headlines. It was the ending of a relationship chapter that fans have followed since 2019, from their first public appearances to the Empire State Building proposal, to years of waiting for the wedding plans to finally become real. The question now is simple. Why did JWoww and Zack choose a surprise wedding? And what does this moment reveal about where their family is now? For verified entertainment updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The latest confirmed update is that Jenni JWoww Farley and Zack Carpinello married on June 24th in Old Bridge, New Jersey. The ceremony was small by celebrity standards, with about 50 guests gathered at Madison Modern Social. But the key twist was the cover story. Guests were led to believe they were attending a special screening connected to Farley's upcoming film, Nanny Cam. The invitations, the movie-style setup, and the red carpet feeling all pointed toward a film event. Then the truth came out. That reveal is what gives the wedding its real why now angle. For years, the couple had been engaged, but the wedding itself kept feeling like something still somewhere in the distance. They had talked publicly about the pressure of planning and the complications of trying to create the right celebration. Instead of turning it into a huge production, they went in the opposite direction. They made it intimate, family-centered, and personal, while keeping the surprise intact until the guests were already inside the room. The couple described the day as something closer to a modern fairy tale with a twist. The theme leaned into Beauty and the Beast inspiration, with deep ruby tones, rose gold details, candlelight, and romantic florals. Ruby became part of the symbolism of the day, appearing through the color palette and personal details connected to family. For a reality star who has lived so many life milestones in public, this ceremony was designed to feel controlled, private, and meaningful rather than oversized. The setting was also part of the message. They did not choose a massive ballroom or a televised spectacle. They chose a contemporary restaurant in New Jersey, close to their real life and family circle. The local mayor reportedly officiated, adding another grounded detail to a wedding that could easily have been much more theatrical. The surprise may have been playful, but the purpose behind it was clear. They wanted the people closest to them to experience the moment together before the public did. Farley's two children, Melanie and Grayson, were also included in the celebration. That is one of the most important pieces of context, because the couple framed the wedding not only as a marriage between two people, but as a family milestone. Zack gave Melanie a ruby birthstone ring, while Grayson received a soccer-themed gift. Those details were not just accessories to the ceremony. They were part of the couple's public explanation for why the day was built around family and not just spectacle. The timeline behind this moment goes back years. JWoww and Zack became publicly linked in 2019 after her split from Roger Matthews. Their early public relationship became part of the broader Jersey Shore conversation, especially as Zack appeared alongside her in the Jersey Shore world and fans watched the relationship develop. Like many reality TV relationships, it was not entirely private. Viewers had seen enough to feel connected to the story, but the final wedding reveal happened outside the usual reality TV format. Then came the proposal. In 2021, Zack proposed to Jenni on her birthday at the Empire State Building. It was one of those big public romance moments that became instantly searchable because it gave fans a clear next chapter. They were engaged, and the wedding was expected. But engagement does not always mean a wedding comes quickly. In their case, years passed. That delay became part of the public narrative, especially when Farley discussed how complicated wedding planning could feel. That is why the June 24th ceremony lands differently. It was not just a wedding announcement. It closed a question that had stayed open for years. Fans had seen the engagement. They had seen the couple continue building a life together. But the actual wedding remained unresolved until the surprise reveal in New Jersey. Another layer is the Nanny Cam connection. The cover story worked because Farley really does have a film project connected to that title. That made the screening invitation believable. Guests were not being pulled into a random excuse. They were being invited into something that sounded plausible within Farley's current career life. Then, when the event shifted from movie screening to wedding ceremony, the twist felt personal rather than staged only for headlines. There were also musical and friendship details that tied the ceremony back to JWoww's Jersey Shore history. Farley chose Lana Del Rey's Young and Beautiful, a song connected to Nicole Snooki Polizzi's wedding, as a tribute to her best friend. That one choice quietly linked this new chapter to one of the most important friendships from the Jersey Shore universe. It did not need a dramatic speech to make the connection clear. The song itself carried the meaning. Zack's entrance added a different personal touch. As a longtime James Bond fan, he entered to music from Casino Royale. That contrast between movie screening setup, Bond-style entrance, Beauty and the Beast visuals, and family-centered vows is part of why the wedding is getting attention. It was not one theme repeated over and over. It was a mix of references that reflected the couple's own interests. After the ceremony, the celebration reportedly stayed intimate and relaxed. Food and drinks were passed around instead of forcing guests into a formal dinner structure. The reception leaned into dancing, mingling, and an elevated restaurant atmosphere. In other words, the wedding matched the couple's stated goal: fewer formal pressures, more memories with the people closest to them. What remains unclear is also worth saying carefully. A full guest list has not been publicly confirmed in the reporting reviewed. It is also not confirmed whether any part of the wedding was filmed for television or whether it will appear in any future Jersey Shore-related project. Because this was introduced publicly through a wedding exclusive, the safest reading is that the marriage is confirmed. The main details of the ceremony are confirmed, and some behind-the-scenes questions are still private. The public reaction so far is built around the surprise. Entertainment outlets quickly picked up the detail that guests thought they were attending a screening, because that is the cleanest headline angle. But the deeper story is the timing. After 7 years together, and more than 5 years after the proposal, JWoww and Zack finally moved from long engagement to marriage. For fans who have watched the Jersey Shore cast grow from reality TV chaos into marriages, parenting, divorces, businesses, and second chapters, this is another sign of how far that original cast has moved from the world that made them famous. The start line takeaway is this: the wedding is confirmed, the surprise format is confirmed, and the important part is not to exaggerate it into a secret scandal or hidden drama. The story is really about control, timing, and family. JWoww and Zack turned a public relationship into a private reveal, using the movie screening cover to protect the moment until they were ready to share it. For now, Jenni JWoww Farley and Zack Carpinello are newlyweds. Their ceremony happened in New Jersey, surrounded by a small group, with their children included. A fairy tale-inspired theme, and a twist that even their invited guests were not expecting. The next question is not whether they got married. That part is confirmed. The next question is how much more of that day they choose to share, and whether this quiet, family-centered chapter becomes part of the larger Jersey Shore story fans have followed for years.